Alright, setup in the operation, machine setup. There are some adjustments which may have to be made by the doing the vary to the conditions such as the rail height and the base of the width. Adjustments must be made to compensate for these conditions before the operation can begin. Danger exclamation point. Serious injury or death can result from the reaching into the moving of the components of the while the machine is in running and the making observation from the safe distance. Warning exclamation point. Always turn off the machine when the perform the maintenance making adjustments or whenever the unintended movement of the machine could occur, unless directed otherwise. Failure to comply with it could result in personal injury and or damage to the machine. Read and understand all operation procedures, warning and this caution before making adjustments. The upper and lower LS caution. Never start. Never start the hydraulic vibrators when the engine is at full throttle. It always starts the engine on the idle or damage to the vibration motor will occur. Down limit switch. Note that the down limit switches must be adjusted with the size of the rail. Were you ever working on the most of readjusted every time that you change the rail size or tie size? When down the limit switch is triggered, it stops the down movement of the workhead and the tool begins to close under the tie. It is not properly adjusted and you will be closing on the sides of the tie and the ballast under the tie or the ballast under the tie will not be fully compacted. To adjust the limit switch, loosen the two bolts holding the switch mounting bracket to the frame side up and down as required. Tighten the bolts up will lessen the depth and down will increase the depth. To proper setting will have been attained within the top of the blade of each. The tampering tool is in a quarter to a half inch below the bottom of the tie being tampered. This will require the removing of the ballast between a tie and on each side of the adjusting depth so that this condition exists. Should the rail or the tie size change, another depth adjustment is required. The down limit switch adjustment shows the side of the view and the quarter to a half inch below the tie. The upper limit switch is the upper limit switch determines the up position of the workhead down with any cycle manual auto. Normally they should be adjusted to allow the tampering tools to clear out of the top of the ties so that the rear tampering tools will not strike a tie when you are moving the next tie. Move to the next tie. When working with very hard ballasts called cemented, it may be advisable to see if these switches higher to permit each tapping tool high to the ballast with more than velocity, always better than penetration of the ballast. To adjust the limited switch, loosen the two bolts and holding the switch mounting bracket under the frame and slide up and down as required and tighten the bolts and up as will lessen the depth. Down will increase the depth. Workhead openings. Each workhead is fitted with the re-silent bumpers which control the maximum opening of the tool. They are found especially useful when closing the tie space encountered. They help and to prevent the tools from hitting the ties ahead or behind the tie being tamped. Located behind the vibrator housing fastened, the workhead carriers are fitted with the lock nuts to secure the setting. These should be kept locked at all times. Turning the bumpers counterclockwise will decrease the distance between the opposing tools. Operator will familiarize himself quickly with these bumpers and their adjustment to suit the spacing and the slewed conditions of the ties. Traction delay. Traction delay is an automatic operation only and can be initiated by turning on the traction delay switch, which can be found on the side of the electrical cabinet to the rear of the left-hand console. The purpose of the traction delay is to introduce time delay adjustability for the time for the workhead to leave the lower limit of the switch down during the up feed of the automatic mode until the travel starts. This option is provided so that the operator can adjust in his index for the tie when working with the machine down a steep grade. Traction delay should not only be used during the normal operations as it will increase the time and it takes to tap one of the tie, thus reduces overall production. Your setup operation closed pressure control. Here's the window and it shows the closed pressure control switch located in the front corner of the left-handed walkway. The item control the ballast compaction between the opposing tamping tools. When the preset pressure is reached, the tampering tool needs to automatically cycle up and out, and the adjustments should be between 800 and 1200 psi. It's set up by using the screwdriver, turning in the set screws as crossbar and visible through the window of the pressure switch indicates the decrease setting. Pressures within 800 to 1200 psi range with better the result of the high pressure provided with the squeeze in speed control in the proper setting. See below. Note for that each of the 100 psi set on the pressure switch an opposing thrust of 1260 pounds between the tools of the workhead will result in machines using 100 psi setting. See hydraulics section preface for more information. Alright, I believe we're at note that for each 100 psi set pressure switching and opposition thrust of a 1260 between the tools of the workout will result. Most of the machines use 1,000 psi setting. See hydraulic section pre-first for more information. The closed speed control on the right hand is the hand speed control. The flow of the control valves control the rate of the speed at which the tampering tool will close and when they have reached their set depth. The right hand of the control the right hand workhead at the left hand of the controls the left hand workhead. A locking nut is provided with the securing of the setting and it should be kept locked after each setting. These controls are locked on the front of the cross beam in the front of the cab. The left control is accessed for the left walkway, and the right control is accessed for the right walkway. Under all conditions, both controls should be open in the same amount, and both workheads should be squeezed at the same speed and when operated individually simultaneously, and should be checked daily. See the hydraulic preface for more information on the left-hand speed control and the right-hand speed control. Tamping tool. The tamping tools are made in 3 different patterns, straight, left hand, and right hand. The term straight and left hand and right hand prefers the position tampering tool of the face in respect of the tool shank, standing of the tool up on the end just like it was into the vibrator, then rotating it into the tool until the keyway in the upper end of the shank is away from you. Now look down at the backside of the tool facing or the blade. If the tool shank appears to be in the middle of the blade, the tool is as straight. If the blade is offset to the left, then it is the left hand. Likewise, if is the right hand, if the blade is in the wider on the right side. The hydraulic switching tamper use no straight tools. These sets are made up to 8 left hand or 8 right hand. In all cases, the tool next to the rail is on offset away from the rail. This shows the front of the workhead from the front of the machine. Your right hand tool, left hand tool, right hand tool, left hand tool, and in between the gauge, the rail. Typical workhead, 4 sets of tools. Your rear tools, left, right, LR, right matrix, left R, right, left, right, left. Your bolt for the spring washer, squeezer, washer, tool holder outside of the face and right hand outside of the face, left hand outside of the face. Remove all the grease from the hole in the vibrator. Install the key in the keyway of the tamping side. Slide the tamping tool into the hole of the vibrator, making sure the key lines up with the keyway in the tool holder. Install the square washer and spring washer and bolt in the top of the tampering tool. Tighten the tamper tool bit while hitting the tamping tool or hammer until the bolt is tight. Alright, continuing setup operations. Machine operation. To avoid serious injury or death, make certain that the area around and under the machine is clear of all personnel and obstructions before traveling or working. Caution: failure to engage all lockup devices before propelling as travel speed can result in injury to personnel and or damage to the machine. General: make certain that all the startup and the procedures have been followed before beginning the work operation. Make certain all lockups have been removed and stored as required. Make certain that the hydraulic oil has been warmed up and see the startup earlier in this section. Engage the parking brake. Reduce the engine to the idle speed slowly at the low left arm console. Move the left and the right vibrator on and off switches to the on position. The vibrators do not have to achieve full speed unless in 2 seconds. Move switch to the off position. Travel the work switch on the left arm console is in the work position. Manual operation. The operator is responsible for locating the machine over each tie at the right arm of the console. Move the index of the manual auto switch to the manual position. Pull the joystick onto the right arm console to cycle the position. Hold it as this will move the workhead down to the depth of the preset by the down limit switch. Close the tool at the speed set to the right hand or left hand speed control. Valves of the pressure set on the closed pressure control switch. Open the tools and bring the workhead back to the height present by the up limit switch. Operation will then stop waiting for you to propel the next location and using the joystick with the forward or reverse position and actuate the joystick cycle again. Automatic operation. The operator is responsible for locating the machine over each tie at the right arm of the console. Move the index manual auto switch to the auto position. When the joystick is moved to the cycle position, it is held and the foot switch is pressed and held. The workheads will go through the entire cycle as follows. Move the workhead down to the depth of the preset for the down limit switch. Close the tools at the speed of the right hand or left hand speed control valve that the pressure set on the closed pressure control switch. Open the tools and bring the workhead back up in height and press it preset set to the up limit switch. The machine will automatically move forward at the next tie, and you must repeat the step 2. Um, Double tapping manually. If double tapping is required, return the control lever to the right arm console to the vertical position, then move it backwards again, and the operation will repeat on the same tie. Emergency procedures. If the hydraulic hose fails, shut down the machine immediately. Determine the cause of the failure. Correct the condition. If any indications on the gauge are not within normal range, shut down the engine to repair before further operation. Emergency cylinder actuation require some electrical emergency pump. See below. Emergency pump optional. Do press the emergency pump switches control console panel. Then operate the required vertical valve handling to move the attachment as required. Operate the pump in intervals for a maximum of 15 seconds at a time. The pump is designed for the emergency use only and should not be used for extended periods of time. Emergency stop. Emergency shutdown should be used only when the engine does not respond to the normal stopping engine procedures or in the event of the emergency when the time is critical. To shut down the engine and stop all the machine functions, push the emergency stop push button located on any of the control boxes. Do not use this method as a shortcut to turn off the engine. Alright, set up an operation. After operation, machine shutdown. Locate the machine on a level track at all possible. Make certain that the two cutter head booms are properly settled on the storage cradles. Apply the parking brake. Reduce the engine speed to the idle speed. Allow the idle for 1 minute. Turbocharged engine should be allowed to idle for 5 minutes. Install lockups. Turn on the ignition. Turn the ignition key to the counterclockwise to the off CCW to the off position. Turn the battery disconnection switch to the off position. Parking or locating the machine. Parking and locating the machine on a level track area, if possible, where it will not be exposed to the excessive dust. If the machine was towed or disconnected, towing vehicle set for the brakes. Move the towing vehicle will clear out the parking machine. Rotating machine. The machine has a turntable which allows the machine to be lifted off the tracks, rotated only in the function of its turntable to rotate the machine. To lift and rotate the machine, proceed with the following steps. 1. Machine must be in the work mode and the warm-up switch on the front of the LH left-handed arms console must be on the on position. The center turntable base across the two solid level ties unlock the turntable valve with the handle located on the back of the cable of the left-handed steps. Pull black the knob and slowly lift the handle to the lower turntable until it comes into the contact with the ties. Move the turntable valve lever upward and hold them until the machine is fully raised off the track and move the lever down on the click. Release the lever. Use the manpower to rotate the machine and the wheels should be directly above the track. After rotating the machine, the wheel flanges are properly aligned with the rails. Slowly move the turntable valve handle lever downward. The turntable cylinder will retract and the machine will lower onto the track. Towing. Maximum towing speed is 35 miles per hour. The reduced speed accordingly dictated with the weather of the track and the conditions. Remember that the machine weight may approach the weight of the towing vehicle may increase the stopping distance accordingly. It is strongly recommended that the drive shaft be removed from before towing the machine. If it is not possible, limited towing of the maximum of 10 miles an hour. In an emergency situation where removal of the drive shaft is not possible, provided the distance be towed less than 10 miles, it is possible to simply neutralize the gearbox before towing. Note when the transmission is in neutral, the gearbox bearings receive no lubrication. It is very possible that damage may occur to the transmission. This is only to be used in a dire emergency situation, not as a method to avoid disconnecting the drive shafts for towing. Alright, on to maintenance, I believe. We're on maintenance now. That was set up operations. Maintenance.